Let's start with a blunt question. Are you still hiring penetration testers based on a long list of certifications or a prestigious computer science degree? If so, you might be filtering out your best candidates. The world of hacking, and ethical hacking, is built on curiosity, persistence, and a hands-on keyboard mentality. The most dangerous attackers aren't ticking boxes, they're in the trenches, learning by doing. Your hiring process needs to reflect that reality. This guide will help tear down outdated assumptions and build a new framework to find real talent. We'll pull back the curtain on what matters when hiring a pen tester. You'll get simple, actionable steps to assess technical grit. When you're sifting through candidates, it's easy to get lost in a sea of acronyms and buzzwords. Let's cut through the noise. There are foundational, non-negotiable technical skills every pen tester must possess. First and foremost is a deep and intuitive understanding of networking. TCP, IP, DNS, DHCP, how data packets traverse a network, using Wireshark to dissect traffic and spot anomalies. Without this fundamental knowledge, a candidate is simply a tool operator, not a true tester. They cannot simulate a sophisticated attacker if they don't speak the language of the network fluently. Next on the must-have list is a solid grasp of operating systems, primarily Windows Linux. Comfortable navigating the command line, knowing file permissions and where logs are stored, how they'd enumerate a new Linux server, and what misconfigurations they look for in Active Directory. Practical answers reveal hands-on experience. Scripting is the third pillar. Python, Bash, PowerShell, automate repetitive tasks and customize existing tools. Technical prowess is only half the battle. A brilliant hacker who can't communicate their findings is like a silent alarm. The threat is there, but no one knows how to respond. The single most important soft skill for a penetration tester is communication, both written and verbal. They must be able to translate complex technical vulnerabilities into clear, concise business risks that a non-technical executive can understand and act upon. Their reports are the ultimate product of their work, and a poorly written report can render an entire engagement useless. Adaptability and a relentless desire to learn are also paramount. The threat landscape changes daily. They spend free time on blogs, CTFs, and home labs. Ask about the last new tool they learned or the most interesting vulnerability they read about recently. Don't overlook the importance of teamwork and ethical integrity. A pen tester rarely works in a vacuum. They need to collaborate with blue team members, developers, and system owners. So how do you test for these traits in an interview? Use situational questions. Instead of asking, "Are you a good communicator?" Imagine you found a critical vulnerability in our main e-commerce application, and you need to explain it to the lead developer who wrote the code and the head of marketing. How would you approach that conversation? If you're only posting on generic job boards, you're fishing in the wrong pond. The best penetration testers are often passive candidates who aren't actively looking for a new role. To find them, you need to go where they are: niche communities, conferences, and platforms like GitHub. On GitHub, you can see code, contributions, and passion projects firsthand. Look for contributors, responsible disclosures, and active repo maintenance. Someone who actively participates in the security community demonstrates engagement a resume can't capture. LinkedIn can be powerful if used correctly. Instead of generic keywords, look for specific tools and skills: Kali tools, Burp, Bloodhound, OSCP. Certifications like the OSCP can be a signal, but don't use them as the only filter. Reach out with a personalized message that shows you've looked at their profile and understand their expertise. A generic automated message is the fastest way to be ignored. Once you have a pool, your screening must be fair, compliant, and effective. Use structured scorecards and technical assessments to compare candidates objectively. For the technical test, give a small practical challenge, a VM with a few known vulnerabilities for them to find and document. Use your ATS to organize candidates and track feedback, but let human expertise drive the decision. Tools that facilitate structured interviews and synchronize feedback are key to fairness and compliance. One of the most common pitfalls is an over-reliance on pedigree. Focusing too much on a university degree or a long list of certifications can be a critical mistake. Many of the most skilled hackers are self-taught or come from non-traditional backgrounds. The OSCP is highly regarded because it requires a grueling practical exam. But it isn't the only indicator of ability. Don't automatically disqualify someone for not having a degree. Focus on what they can actually do. Another landmine is rushing the process. A bad hire in this role is far worse than no hire at all. Take the time for thorough interviews, a practical technical assessment, and a meet the team session. This last step is crucial for evaluating cultural fit. A pen tester needs to build relationships and work constructively with those they critique. Ignoring team dynamics can lead to a toxic environment where security is seen as an adversary. When assessing motivation and fit, stay on the right side of legal lines. Do not ask about age, family status, religion, or other protected topics. Instead, focus on job-centered questions that align with company values and role demands. For example, ask, "What kind of work environment helps you do your best work?" Or describe a project you were passionate about. What made it engaging? Let's look at a practical example. You ask, "Describe a time you found a vulnerability you weren't expecting." A weak answer, "I ran Nessus and it found a critical SQL injection. I put it in the report." A strong answer, "I tested a file upload, noticed it renamed files with a timestamp, tried directory traversal in the file name, uploaded a web shell and gained remote code execution." Proving manual creative testing was essential. It's time to refine your process, ask better questions, and hire the curious minds that will truly secure your future. If you're hiring right now, check peopleteam.com/hiring and subscribe for more hiring guides.